We're not going to get a second chance in the game.
Hey guys, my name is Tony Shiffman. I'm the head football coach, offensive coordinator at Fort Madison High School. I'm honored to be here today, help out Chief Pigskin, and what we're going to be talking about is sort of our offensive philosophy, how we introduced things, how we implemented things, and sort of what we do on the offensive line side of things in our run game. As I said, my name is Tony Shiffman. A little bit of backstory about me. I started coaching pretty late in the game. I was 26 years old. Started coaching in 2017 at my alma mater, Springfield High School, where I was the offensive line coach and head junior varsity coach. Took a big leap in 2014 and moved to Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina to be the offensive line coach and head track and field coach. And then after that, in 2015, I came back a little bit closer to Clarksville, Tennessee, where I was the run game coordinator, offensive line coach, and again, head junior varsity coach. Got the opportunity this past year, 2017, to be a head football coach at Fort Madison High School in Fort Madison, Iowa. It was a rebuilding program. You can see in a lot of our slides that we have brick by brick at the bottom. It's been a huge rebuild for us, but we were able to take a team that was 0-9 on a 17-game losing streak, and we had a 4-5 record last year, and hope to build off of that coming into the future seasons. I'm blessed at Fort Madison to have a great coaching staff. A lot of my guys went to Fort Madison High School, so they've got a lot of investment in the program, in the school, in athletics. So it's a pride thing for us, it's a pride thing for me, and it's a pride thing for our team. Our offensive line coach and the guy I have to thank for helping me with this presentation, Andrew Troxel. Our running back coach, Derek Doherty, is an alum of Fort Madison, played football and wrestled for Fort Madison High School. Our wide receivers coach, Justin Mankey, again, Fort Madison alum, played basketball, played football at Fort Madison, and I was able to play football with Coach Mankey in college. Our quarterback coach, Corey Dorothy, he's a local guy, actually one of the few that didn't go to Fort Madison, but he was a pleasure to have on staff. This was his first year coaching and he did a great job. On the defensive side of things, Luke Rickelman is our defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. He, again, is a Fort Madison alum, wrestled, played football, and is just a proud guy to have on staff. Mike Hayes, again, a Fort Madison alum, played football and wrestled for the high school. And then our defensive line coach, Casey Yeager, is from just across the river in Illinois, and he's another one that I was able to play college football with. These guys do a great job. They make my job as a head coach a heck of a lot easier, and it's just a pleasure working with those guys every day. So a little bit of what we do, some of our improvements that we did. Fort Madison has always been a double wing, single wing team. They've always been under center. They've always had 2 or 3 backs. Try to focus on big offensive linemen and fast backs. We came in and decided we were going to do the spread. That's what I've been accustomed to. That's what I've been taught. That's what I've played in. That's what I've coached. So we're a spread team. So you can look on the slide and see 2016 we were 0-9. We had 369 rushing attempts for 1,136 yards, 3.1 yards a carry, and our leading rusher had 343 yards, and we only scored 7 rushing touchdowns. 2017, we were able to go 4-5. We had 298 rushing attempts for 1,517 yards. We averaged over 5 yards a carry. Our leading rusher, broke the school record, had 1,355 yards, and actually broke the single game rushing record with over 350 yards in one game. And we were able to have 17 rushing touchdowns. So our rushing improvements going from a single wing, double wing look to a spread look, we were able to have more rushing yards on fewer attempts and have better yards per carry and 17 rushing touchdowns. Passing improvements is a big improvement. You can see in 2016 we had 12 completions out of 59 attempts for 117 passing yards and 6 interceptions. No touchdown passes. 2017 last season we had 100 completions out of 213 attempts, 1,269 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Fort Madison has not been known as a passing team since the early 2000s, and we, with those 1,269 passing yards, we actually had more passing yards this past season than the last 4 years combined. So we were pretty proud of that. We were proud of our our completions and attempts, and really really just kind of took the season over with our passing game some games when we needed to. We have a lot of team goals that we like to give our kids. We reward them with helmet stickers. We have a dog bone decal that we put on our helmet. So some of our team goals and our offensive goals that we try to achieve. Obviously, our team goals, we want to win the game. We want to achieve that game, win that game with no penalties if possible. That shows our discipline. That shows that we're focusing on the little things, and that shows that we're improving as we go. We want to try to achieve a running clock in our favor. That's a big goal for me, especially as offensive coordinator. We want to try to score as many points as we can, as fast as we can, to get the clock rolling, to try to play everybody in that game. We want to try to limit the big plays against us. We don't want to have any 40-plus point or 40-plus yard plays against us. And then we want to try to have 3 of those big plays in our favor, where we are getting a 40-plus yard play. Our offensive goals, we want to score 28 points. Truthfully, that's a little low. We want to try to score a point per minute of time of possession, if we can do that. We want to achieve 300 yards of total offense, rushing and passing. We want to have no turnovers. Obviously, if you don't turn the ball over, you keep it, you're going to score a lot more points. You're going to be a lot more effective on offense, and you're going to in turn win more games. We want to have no 3 and outs. We don't want to get on the field, have 3 plays, and then have to punt and give the ball right back to the opposition. And then we want to try to score on the opening drive. That's important for me. That's important for our team to do that, because that sets the game, and that kind of gets the ball rolling in our favor to be an effective offense. So some of our offensive emphasis that we were talking about, we want to be multifaceted. We want to use multiple formations that can use our skill positions and talent level. That was something that was important for us this year, because in the past, we would be forced into a smaller box with that double wing philosophy. Now we can spread the field a little bit. Now we can make the game a little bit more appealing for some of the kids who might not play before, some of the basketball players, some of the baseball players. Some of those kids, now we can kind of have a little fun and spread the ball a little bit. We're going to still use gap schemes. We're going to be a gap scheme team with some zone principles. We like to run zone, we like to run power, and we like to run counter. Those are our 3-man running plays that we're going to talk about. But we're going to have some of those principles mixed in together. I'm a big believer in the zone system. I think zone works at the high school level with any type of team, as long as you rep it and work on that game. Again, we want to try to spread the field to create favorable matchups. We want to take advantage of the defenses and what they're giving us. If we can find a mismatch on our slot receiver, we're going to take advantage of that. If we can find a mismatch on our outside receiver, we're going to take advantage of that. So we're going to try to create matchups where we can spread the field and attack the field vertically and horizontally. And then we want to play with fast-paced enthusiasm. We are a high-tempo team. Year 1, we had some hiccups, but we are going to be a tempo team, and we want to come at with enthusiasm and passion and have fun doing what we do. Why the spread? Why did we go spread from double wing? Like I said, it's what I've coached. It's what I've been coached in. It's what I've been played in. So it's what I know. It's what our kids are learning. What our kids will know, and it's what our assistants know. It uses the entire field. We're able to go sideline to sideline and spread out the defense and take advantage of those mismatches like we talked about. It's going to force those defenses into those mismatches. We're going to take advantage of the mistakes that they make, or maybe not covering a guy, or maybe over covering one side, and take advantage of those mistakes. The big one for us is it's going to help our smaller, more athletic offensive linemen. We are not blessed with a lot of 6'6", 300-pound kids, as most high schools are not. The majority of our offensive linemen are 6 feet tall or shorter, and 220 pounds or lighter. So we've got smaller but more athletic linemen. So we want to take advantage of that. That's why we want to be able to spread, why we want to be able to go tempo, so we can take advantage of having those smaller guys who can have good technique and really get into the defense, so we can get our ball moving. And then we want to use our athletes in space. Again, like I said, we want to make sure that we can get some of those basketball players out and make the game fun for them and have them enjoy what we do and get them out to participate in football. This year we're going to pistol. We're going to be exclusively pistol offense. You'll see in the film at the end that a lot of last year we did not go pistol. This year we are going exclusively pistol. The reason for that is it balances the formation and it makes the defense do the same. Now you can find the mismatch and you can attack the weak side or wherever the defense is weaker, find those bubbles and attack that with no problem. It gives us the ability to flip plays without having to flip formations. It gives us the ability to, obviously the back is going to be behind the quarterback, so now the back doesn't have to go from sidecar to the other side. He's directly behind the quarterback. Defense doesn't know which way we're going, and we can attack either way with no problem. And then it creates conflicts with the defense. Like I said, they don't know which way we're going to go. They can't key on maybe a fullback, or they can't key on a tailback positioning. So it's going to create conflicts with that defense, and we're going to be able to take advantage of that and attack that as best as we can. So some of our basics that we're looking for offensively, we want to have a strong running game between the tackles. Like I said, we are a heavy zone power counter team, so we want to hit between the tackles. We don't run a lot of stretch. We don't run a lot of jet sweep. We don't run a lot of wide zone in our run game. We're trying to get between the tackles and take advantage of that. We don't have many run plays, but we have a lot of different formations, a lot of different looks that we can run those few plays out of. So that's another reason why, one of our basics. The game of football is a revolving and evolving game. So we do have some run pass option schemes. We do have some quick passing schemes. The run pass option is a hot word nowadays. We do have some simple schemes that we will run, but we're not overexerting in the RPO schemes. Quick passing schemes we'll have where we can just get the ball to our athletes in space and let them run, let them gain yards. And then we want to control the clock. We are a tempo team. We are high tempo, but we still want to control the clock. We still want to make sure that we have win at time of possession because the more we have the ball, the more we can score, and the better outcome we're going to have. Why do we go tempo? We want to have minimal looks for the quarterback and the offensive lineman. We don't want to get out there and have to have the offensive line overthink because now they're going to make mistakes that are easily avoided. It's going to create simpler looks and mismatches in the run game. You're going to get that defense that's going to be misaligned. You're going to get that linebacker who's maybe going to get caught outside of the box or inside of the box, where now you can take advantage of that, or maybe throw a quick screen outside or throw a quick bubble outside. So you're going to get simpler looks and mismatches. Like I've touched on a few times, it's a great recruiting tool. It's great to get those 5'8" shooting guards out on that play basketball, to get them out to play football, where they can now help the school as a whole. So it's a great recruiting tool. It's great to get them out, get those kids out to just help the sport. The decision making is often in the hands of the player now. So we'll still have tags as a coaching staff that we'll call. We won't get into many of those today, but we'll still have tags. But now that quarterback's got to make the decision. It's going to cause them to focus a little bit more at practice. It's going to cause them to be dialed in a little bit more during the game. And so that decision making is going to be in his hands. Big one for us is it fatigues the defense. Where we are at in Southeast Iowa, we don't see a lot of teams with over 45 guys. So a lot of their best players are going both ways. Same as ours, but a lot of their players are going both ways. So we anticipate to be in better shape than them. So we're going to fatigue their defense enough where we can take advantage in the third and fourth quarter and really close teams out and really put them away. And we want to try to get as many plays as we can. You can see in 2016 we averaged 47 plays a game. In 2017, going a little bit more tempo, and obviously being in year one, it wasn't what we expected. That number should be probably closer to 70, but we were still able to increase it by 10 plays per game up to 57. So we had small steps. We did make small small gains, but that was going in year one. Year two, we expect it to be a lot bigger steps to leaps. So some more of our offensive strategy. We want to be complete and diverse. We want to have a few base plays that we can run from a lot of formations that we can then add tags. We can then add RPOs. We can add passes off of it to take advantage. We'll have special plays. We will have some special plays that we run. I like to run a few trick plays here and there. It keeps the defense honest, and it keeps the fans in the stands. We're easily adaptable with our system. Like I said, we're going exclusively pistol this year. We were not pistol last year, so we're able to be flexible. We're able to be flexible enough where if we want to go sidecar with that tailback again, we can, and really do that during games. And it's going to allow us to have maximum participation during games. So we're able to have a few, if we've got 8 wide receivers that can play, we're able to play all 8 of those wide receivers based on personnel, based on formation, based on time, based on how much they play, maybe offensively or defensively. We would like to be 65% run, 35% pass. Last year we were 58% run, 42% pass. So we were close to that. This year we're losing our bell cow, so we're probably going to be closer to 50-50, truly 50-50. We operate 95% out of shotgun and pistol. That number's probably a little bit too low. The only time we really ever get under center is when we're taking a knee or when we're sneaking the ball. So every other snap we're shotgun or pistol. We want to be the most physical team in our district, in our area, out of the teams we play. We want to be the most physical because now if we're the most physical team, we're doing the things we're supposed to be doing. We're taking advantage of their mismatches, and we're attacking them where it hurts. We want to then, on the flip side of that, we want to be the best blocking team. That's not necessarily on the offensive line. That goes with receivers, that goes on special teams, that goes on everything where a block needs to be made. We want to be the best blocking team, again, in our district, in our region, on our schedule. And then we want to stretch the defense across the field, make them play assignment football so we can attack the weak spots. Some of our 3 critical keys for success, we want to protect the football. Like I said, if you don't commit turnovers, you're not gonna give the ball away. You're going to keep scoring. We want to be able to convert on third down. Keep drives moving. If your third down conversion is good, that means you're keeping drives alive. That means you're converting easy third and shorts. And then again, holding the ball, controlling the clock. And then we want to make sure we score in the red zone. Every time we're in the red zone, we want to end with a kick, whether it's a PAT or a field goal. So we want to make sure that we score when we get that ball down low, and really keep our foot on the pedal. Couple of our base formations that we'll use and kind of how we're discussing them this year. We'll have 3 base formations that we've got a multitude of tags on. We've got Ace, Leo, and Rio. As you can see, Ace is just your basic 2x2 look. We're able to run anything in our run game out of Ace. We're able to throw screens, bubbles, anything we want. Leo is a trips left look. In my mind, Leo's a lot easier than just saying trips left. We're gonna try to be verbal as much as possible, so that's less of a time talking. And then Rio to the right. We've got 6 or 7 tags now that we can tag those formations with to have a different look. So we can go invert, which just puts the slot receivers on, the outside receivers off. We can go stack, which stacks the receivers wherever they're at, out of Ace or out of Leo or Rio. And then we can go bunch, king and queen, or tight. So we've got a bunch of different tags that we can do, that we can play with, depending again on personnel, depending again on who's in the game and where we're at and the level, the opposition. Going to start getting into offensive line now. That was kind of the basic nuts and bolts of our offense and our philosophy. Now we'll get down to kind of what we do on the offensive line part. Like I said, we were a heavy double wing team, so we were implementing spread. It's a completely different style of blocking. You have to completely change the way you teach. You have to change the way that you coach. You have to change the way that your offensive linemen are moving and their stance and everything. So we're going to kind of get into that. That'll be kind of the bulk of this presentation. Our offensive line stance, we want to have a stagger stance. I've seen lots of places, I've coached lots of places where your guards are base and your tackles might be staggered. We're going to stagger both our guards and our tackles. The easiest way we can explain it is we take that inside foot or that outside foot, put it in the instep of the inside foot, and then go shoulder width apart. That's the stagger we want. We don't want to put it any further back. We can put it up a little bit depending on the comfort level of the offensive lineman, but we don't want to be any further back because then you risk slowing yourself down a lot in that run game and over opening up on pass protection. We want to have the inside foot flat. So if you're a left guard, your right foot is the inside foot. It's going to be flat. Your heel on your outside foot is going to be up a little bit. We just want to be a little bit of space where you can slide maybe a piece of paper underneath there. You don't want it to be up, pressure on the toes. You just want it to be up a little bit where he can explode and get off the ball. Weight's going to be distributed evenly on both feet, so you're not leaning one way or another. You're gonna see in some of the clips we've got a guy leaning a little bit, but you want to be even. You want to be square to the line of scrimmage. You want to have that weight evenly distributed. Where now, out of your stance, you are able to go right or left without having to change anything. You want to have a flat back, and we're going to have our outside hand down. Again, I've coached different ways where you can let your guards kind of pick and choose which hand they have down based on comfort. We're going to have our outside hand down for both guards and tackles. To me, it's just a comfort thing. You have to be able to be comfortable in your stance. Like I told kids when I coached the offensive line exclusively, I told kids you should be comfortable in your stance where you can sit there for 20 minutes if you want and really not have any problems. So we want to have that outside hand down. We want to make sure that our thumbs and elbows are in when we're blocking. You want to be able, when I'm watching a guy block, if I'm looking at him from the back, I shouldn't see his arms. I shouldn't have chicken wings out like here. I should have elbows tight and thumbs up as we're going. We do that because now we want to own the defensive lineman's chest. We want to get in that defensive lineman's numbers, and we want to make sure we own him. We tell our guys to hold. I'll go ahead and flat out tell you that. We tell our guys to hold because if we're good at holding, we're not going to get flagged for it. And now we've got that much more of an edge on the defense. We want to keep our eyes below the opponent's face mask. That's just the old adage, the low man wins. That's going to be us exploding out of our stance, getting under the defensive lineman and really taking advantage of him. We want to make sure we close that space between us and the defender as fast as possible. Again, that comes with us exploding off the ball, exploding out of our stance, getting into them with a fast punch as quick as possible. Some of the things that our offensive line coach does a great job with is, and you'll see some of the drills here, he makes sure that our drills translate to games. We don't do drills just to do drills. We're not doing things just because we want to do the drills. Everything we do will translate to what we're doing on Friday nights. Will translate to what we're doing in our offense, and everything we do is going to be beneficial to those guys. And we want to make sure we watch those drills. We want to make sure we're keeping an eye on them from behind, from the side, from up top, wherever, to make sure that we are doing those drills right, because more often than not, we'll drill it, but then you get to the game and sometimes a mistake is made. So we want to make sure that we can see it from their eyes, that we see what they're seeing, and then they can in turn watch it and fix their mistakes. So that's kind of what our stance and how our base blocking works. So like I said, we have three base schemes. We're a zone, power, and counter team. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of our concepts, how we run those, how we implemented those, and then we have a few videos of drill, and then at the end we'll have a few clips of some game film. So zone concepts. We want to try to get a vertical push. Zone's big for us because we want to try to get the defense moving vertically so that our running back can cut and kind of pick and choose and attack where he sees the holes were. We had a great running back last year who was really able to do that. We've got a couple good ones coming up that can do that as well. So zone's big for me. I know zone's not often looked on as a sexy offense or a sexy run scheme in high school because you don't have the linemen or the size for it. I think that's a load of crap, honestly. I think you can run zone with any size lineman, any type of offense, any type of scheme, and be successful with it. So, again, trying to get a vertical push. We want our double teams. Our double teams in zone at the point of attack are critical. We've got to make sure that we get those done and blocked effectively because if we don't, now we're going to get leakage. We're going to get a linebacker scraping over the top or coming up, reading an open window, and he's going to be unblocked. Again, we don't need to be huge. You need to be smart, athletic, and quick. I tell my guys all the time, in zone, as long as you can get in front of the guy and make sure that he's now got to go between you, he's got to go through you to get to the ball, you're winning the game. I played offensive line in college. I was 190 pounds. I wasn't blocking anybody off the ball. I wasn't kicking anybody's butt, but I was able to get in their way. I was able to slow them down enough where now that running back can get past, and we're off to the races. And then, we want to have an athletic quarterback. We have an athletic quarterback at Fort Madison, so we're able to read that backside end. We're able to put a little bit of that read game in there where he can pull it and run it, and you'll see a couple clips of that. He can pull it and run it and get yardage. And then with our RPOs, now we can pull it and run it and maybe throw a bubble, maybe throw a quick slant, and be effective that way. So he's got to be able to be athletic enough to get yardage, and he's got to also understand coverages enough and understand the defense enough where he can take advantage of their mistakes and throw the ball outside, throw the ball downfield while still being moving the ball. So some of our installations, some of our rules that we have what our offensive line coach calls travel partners. So if you're if we're running zone to the right, you're the backside guard, your travel partner is going to be that center or it's going to be that backside tackle. So we want to have travel partners where we can work those double teams, work those combo drills, and really have a good understanding of wherever that defensive guy goes, he's not going to be right because we're going to be able to pick and choose where we go offensively. You've got to know your gap responsibilities. Got to know if we're running zone right and I'm the center, I've got the play side A gap. So that's my zone. Backside guard's got the backside A gap. That's his zone. So we've got to know our gap zone responsibilities. We have to understand our covered uncovered rule. So our covered uncovered rule states that if I'm playing play side guard and we're running zone right and I'm covered, that means there's a man directly on my play side shoulder. I'm covered, he's my man. If I'm the play side tackle and there's a guy covering up the play side guard, now I'm uncovered, I know I'm double teaming to backer. So we've got to understand our covered, uncovered rules, and we rep that nonstop. We've got to know their paths. Again, zone is difficult at first to install because you don't understand path. Guys will chase. You'll see it on film too because it was year one. Guys will chase. Guys will try to think they have to block a man, not a zone, and go after him, and all hell will break loose. And then you've got to understand coming to balance at the second level. What that means is you've got to be able to slow down your feet enough where you can block that linebacker or even pick up your pace enough where you can go get after that linebacker and take advantage of him because you never know when that little block might spring a running back. So some of our drills we do, and I'm going to pop these up as best as I can. We do our base board drill where, as you can see, and this was the guy doing this drill right now was actually this past year was a senior. It was his first year playing football. He ended up being first team all district. He did a great job for us. Was a team captain. Really, for a first-year offensive lineman, was about as good as I've ever seen. He does a good job in these drills. He's a little rusty, but he still does a good job. So in our board drill, you can see we've got a guy holding a bag back here and a guy holding the bag right here, and just a board like any other team will do. So what happens now is this guy holding the bag, he's either going to stay there or he's going to step across the board. Depending on what he does will depend on what that guy does in his zone game. Now, obviously, he's a little bit out of practice. He should be throwing a hand there to punch that defender, but he's just working his way up the linebacker, okay? Now, secondly, you'll see the guy steps across, so now he picks him up. Okay, all this is just a base combo drill, but it's just you're working one-on-one, or you're working by yourself. Excuse me. So he steps across, he takes a step upfield, and he blocks the guy, blocks the defender. Okay, we'll watch it again. No step, moving up the linebacker. Probably could be opening up his steps a little bit more, but they're rusty. We did this. I have to thank our offensive line coach. He pulled these guys in this past week and filmed this. You can see in our wonderful weight room / indoor facility. So our spacing was a little limited, but we did a great job with it anyways. Guy steps across the board, is able to pick him up. So that's our first board drill. We'll do a cube drill, okay, where now the offensive lineman, he's trying to get upfield out of that cube as fast as he can, okay? Like I said, he's a little bit out of practice. His first step was back, okay? We want that first step being in the cube, okay? That first step should step up into the cube. Second step there, and then third step should be out of the cube. So he's a little rusty. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, pick him up, drive him out. Okay, doing it again. A little bit better job that time on the second time around. Steps a little bit too lateral, but it's not behind us now. Driving up, step, punch, drive. Okay, one of the things we do, again, to work on our hips and making sure we get in front of our defender, our offensive line coach purchased a bear claw, which some of you guys, if you've never had one of these, it's a great tool to have. Now he's got to work, our offensive lineman's got to work his hips around to get in front of that defensive lineman. Okay, and it can work both ways, where now they're both fighting against each other, but he's got to get his hips in front of him to make sure that we get a lane for zone. Okay, stepping up. Good. This is our 160-pound freshman center. He's learning, but he does a great job. Okay. You want to make sure you keep your feet. He's a little wide. You want to make sure you keep your feet pointed upfield a little bit, and then driving your feet, driving your toes. And then last one is our combo block. Okay. Again, like I said, this guy's turning a little bit. You want to make sure your shoulders are square. But this is just a base combo block that most teams will do, where we're trying to get a vertical push, okay? Work it up to the second level. If that guy comes across, okay, it steps into his zone, he picks him up right there, boom, finishes, that guy works to the next level. Zone is huge for, you have to have good communication when you run zone. That's something that I stress to every offensive line that I've ever coached, that I've ever been around. If you have great communication, you're going to be effective in the run game. If you don't have good communication and you're just guessing, you're going to have mistakes. You're going to have guys sneaking through, leaking through, and you're going to not have an effective run game. So now I'll talk about some of our power concepts. Power, we want to be able to attack the B gaps of the defense with a strong double team at the point of attack. That's one of our keys, is to make sure that we have that strong double team from the play side guard, play side tackle. Utilize our physicality. Power is an attitude play. Power is a play that says, I'm gonna take this football and I'm gonna run it up your butt with a guy pulling around, wrapping and kicking out linebacker. And so it's an attitude play for us. We want to have an attitude with it, and we want to be able to effectively run it downhill. Power for us is, we're going to have a read concept. We're going to be able to read either backside end or play side end to slow down any aggressive defensive fronts. Again, with power, we can throw that ball out there. We can throw a bubble or a quick screen or even a downfield RPO. So we're going to have some concepts to slow down an over-aggressive defense. The beauty about power is you can run it against any front. You can run it against a 3-4. You can run it against a 3-3. You can run it against a bear front, an over front, an under front, anything. You can run power against any front. And then we're going to be able to run classic power too, with a fullback kick out and a wrapper, or like I said, the power read. So it's a concept that works well for us. It's a concept that we ran quite a bit last year and had effect and had success with. But we had the ability to have a fullback. Power for us, we're not necessarily have that fullback sniffer type, So we're going to have to change how we run power and find a way to be effective with it. Again, installation, you have to have a removal on the play side. You've got to be able to make sure that you get those guys to move that 3 technique or have a hard down block on that tackle to create space, to create a lane to run in. Our offensive linemen have to understand the difference between a combo and a smash block. Combo for us is a vertical zone double team. A smash block for us is a horizontal diagonal double team, more for gap scheme plays, where now that guy is looking to go either gap, down, backer. And you've got to understand the difference between a combo and a smash. Our puller, so our rapper's got to have eyes on his linebacker. If he skip pulls, and he goes to block that linebacker, but he doesn't see him because he's looking at the ground or watching his feet, we're in trouble. So he's got to, when he gets up and gets in his stance, he's got to have eyes on that linebacker, understand who he's going for, so that when he pulls and wraps, he can kick out that guy wherever he might be. You got to make sure you have no backside penetration. Down block is imperative in the power for us. Got to have a great down block from the center, pulling back or blocking back for the guard. You'll see on film, we were a little iffy sometimes last year with it being year 1 of it, but it's only going to improve as we keep moving. And you got to be able to identify the blitz and adjust to it. So, you've got to be able to understand as maybe a backside tackle, if that guy's in the B gap, you have to maybe understand, hey, I got to go cut him off instead of hinge blocking, like you'll see some for our drills. So again, going into some of our drills, we've got our down block progression. Again, this is our younger guy, so we want to make sure that we're stepping our first step. That first step on our down block, it can't be just an open step. It's got to be an upfield aggressive step. We want to split the crotch of the defender with that first step. He just kind of opens up a little bit, young kid. He's only going to get better, but we want to make sure we split the crotch of the defender, and then on that second step, we're punching that bag, okay? That's a huge block for centers to have to make sure they do, because more often than not, if that guy, if as a center, maybe I open up a little bit instead of down block hard, step down hard, that defense lineman is going to make penetration, and he's going to cause all kinds of chaos for that play. So we want to make sure we're stepping, punching. That defender should be crossing the line of scrimmage. We do 2 steps and 3 steps here. He should be firing out, popping into him. Again, young kid, working with what we got. Hard to simulate these drills in an indoor setting too. So we want to make sure that block's got to be hard, fast, and he's got to drive through that guy. Working on the skip pull, we are a skip pull team. I've done both skip pull and just an open pull. So again, it's kind of what you're comfortable with, what your guards are comfortable with. So we are a skip pull team. What we'll do is we'll set up some dots and have a bag holder or have a dummy up there. We want to. This is the only time where we will lose ground to gain ground. Okay, we want to skip pull, keep those shoulders square. Okay, keep that base wide. He does a bad job here. He brings his feet together, so he's just running. Okay, we don't want to be just running at the guy. We want to make sure we have a good base. We want to make sure we are coming to balance when we make contact with the guy and driving through him when we make contact with the linebacker. Okay. Then we have our hinge block. Our hinge block is big for our backside tackle. Again, this was a guy playing first year football. He did a great job at this. He's got to understand where that defender's going. So he's going to take a hard step inside upfield and then hinge back to pick up anything coming across. Okay, he does a great job there, picking him up. You'll see it on film. He does a really good job with it. Does a really good job of cutting the guy off too. Okay. Now, if that guy's inside of him, maybe we're seeing a team, a 3-4 team, where that guy's in a 4-eye. Now he's taking that hard step to go get that guy. Whereas against a regular 5 technique, he might be outside, opening up outside. Now he's taking that first hard step to try to cut that guy off. Okay. This turns into just trying to rip underneath him and get him moving. Okay, he kind of just goes too quick here. Okay, he wants to rip up and just drive underneath him. Okay, the only thing I can compare it to is if you're playing basketball and boxing out. You're trying to get that guy cut off and box him out. If that's the only way you can do it, if you can get your shoulders turned and face him, great. But if you have to just box him out and keep him wide, box him out and keep him wide. Whatever you've got to do to make the block. That's something that is big for me. Is we don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. As long as we can get the block done and get the block made, we're good to go. And then the next one is a smash block. Like I said, the smash block for us is a hard vertical diagonal double team block where now this guy's trying to smash the inside shoulder so that this guy can get his hips around and we can work off the linebacker. Okay, they're kind of going half speed there. But he wants to get his hips across, and again, this is a little sloppy. We want to get this inside guard's hips across so he can get him. What we like to say is we want him to get his head across his helmet so we can try to take a bite of that guy's ear. Okay, we want to take a bite of that guy's play side ear. That's where if we have that head placement, we're good to go. Okay, he's smashing the inside shoulder, working up the linebacker. So those are our base power drills that we'll run. We'll rep those every day and really just rep it against any kind of defensive look. And then our counter concepts. Okay, counter concepts. Counter for us, we want to create a natural misdirection play. Okay, counter again being a gap scheme is an attitude play for us. Okay, anytime you have any sort of gap scheme for us, it's going to be an attitude play because you've got guys moving parts, different pieces of the puzzle. So we want to make sure we have an attitude at that play side. Okay. Utilize our physicality. Now we can utilize some of our athleticism. Okay, now we can utilize our guard kicking out, our tackle wrapping up, and take advantage of those guys being more athletic than some of those defensive guys, and really getting up and getting on defenders quick so we can move. We've got the ability to dress the play up enough to get defenders out of position. Okay, we can jet a guy across in motion. We can do all sorts of shifts. To get those defenders out of position, and where now it's easier to run counter for us. And again, like power, we've got the ability to use other members of the offense. You'll see it on film. We played a lot with a sniffer back last year, so we'll use that guy as a wrapper on counter sometimes if we need to. We're able to call it. We just call it counter switch. So we're able to do that. Okay, again, must have play side removal. You've got to be able to move that 3 technique, that heavy guy out of the way to get this play to be effective. Kick out block, this is a big block for us. He's got to get his head to the inside and drive him outside. I tell guys all the time, when they go and pull to kick out, it doesn't have to be a kill shot. We don't have to try to blow that guy up. We need to just make sure we get our head inside and get him walled off enough where he can't make a play squeezing down. We've got to understand how to handle that defensive end, though. If that guy does squeeze down, you'll see it on film a couple times. Our guard kicking out will just log him inside. So we've got to be able to be smart enough and rep it enough where we understand week by week what that defensive end might be doing. And then wrappers, he's got to have his eyes downfield on linebacker, just like on counter. He's got to recognize that guy when he goes, and he's got to be able to pull and move and get him as best as he can. Again, no backside penetration on counter. It causes messes up. Okay, down block drill is the same. Okay, what we do, we have what we call a Clemson drill. I won't show you the down block again. We have what we call a Clemson drill. Got this from the guy at Clemson. So it's basically getting both guys moving at the same time. It's good for counter and for power. So you get that guard now working, kicking out that defensive end. You get that power, or that skip puller now working on power. So it forces this guy to stay flat on his kick out block, and it forces the backside guard to get a little bit more depth on his skip pull. So it's a good kind of cross play drill to run. Okay. Normally we'll have a bag there, but being our quarters, we didn't have one at this time. So normally we'll have a bag for this guy to kick out, and he's wrapping, pulling, kicking that outside linebacker out. Okay, smash block's the same for us on counter as it is power. The beauty of power and counter is that on the play side, it looks the exact same. You don't have to worry about anything. If they can block power, they can block counter on the play side, and there's no difference. The other thing we do is what we call a chase drill. So this is kind of just, it's a fun one for us. It gets them competing a little bit, but it gets this guy. Now he's gonna go wrap, or he's gonna go pull, open, and kick out. He's gonna wrap. He's trying to touch the kick out. If he can grab the kick out guy, he wins. Okay, so it gets that kick out guy moving as fast as he can, because that's how you want counter to be that way. You don't want that guy to open up and be lethargic down the line of scrimmage, because then you're going to run into problems. You're going to get that guy squeezing down, and you're going to cause all kinds of a log jam. So we want to get that guy, these guys moving as fast as we can. Okay, he's trying to catch him, kick out, turn up. Okay, kind of cheated there a little bit. He grabbed him before they were even moving. So I won't give him that one. But same thing, just from behind. Okay, we're kicking out here, wrapping up. Now we give this guy the ability, if he wants to skip pull that backside tackle, we allow him to skip pull. You'll see on film he skip pulls. For some reason, when we were doing this, he didn't want to. I guess he forgot all his drills. So, but he'll skip pull on film. You'll see it. So that's what we're trying to get out of this look. Okay, we'll go over a little film here. It's in order of how we talk. So it goes. We go zone, power, then counter. So this is a good example of our quarterback being athletic enough to pull it and read it. Okay, he sees he actually probably should have been a give here. They do a stunt, but he goes outside wide enough, and it's another good example. You can see here our backside guard chases. So he chases after the tackle. Again, first year, a lot of these mistakes we made, we discussed, we talked about, and we're giving them the benefit of the doubt for the most part, just because it is first year with what we did. Okay, so he's chasing, but our quarterback did a good job here, pulling it, gaining a lot of yards on the play. Okay, zone again. Again, he gets that defensive end crashing down hard. He pulls it. He's able to get outside. They're chasing after it. Okay? Our guys do a good job. We get bodies on bodies. We get our backside tackle, okay, sifting up here to get that linebacker. We're all stepping positive direction, moving upfield. This guy comes out, crashes down hard, so our quarterback's able to pull it and get a real good gain on this play. Okay, zone again. Again, this guy, zone is big because zone, here's a great example of this guy right here, our play side guard, our right guard, never played offensive line before. We kind of threw him in about a week before the season started, threw him in at offensive line, ended up starting every game. But he just takes that guy where he wants to go, okay? Take that guy where he wants to go. That's the beauty. The beauty of zone is that it's built for cutbacks. All right, our running back, your running back's got to be able to find a lane and hit it. Okay? Positive yards are good yards. He's able to find a hole, find a crease, get vertical. Okay, zone again. Here's another great example of a cutback. We get those guys moving, all moving horizontally. Okay? And that running back's able to just see something and cut back against the grain and get vertical, get positive yardage. Okay, don't do a great job with our centers. Got to get his feet moving a little bit better. But still, he gets enough of that guy, enough piece of that guy where we can make a cut off of it and get vertical. Okay, now here's an example of one of the things we did last year, having a sniffer back. We just called it slice. It's just a slip look where we're going zone, 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 zone. We're sending that sniffer back, fullback, H-back, whatever you want to call it, all the way across the formation to pick up that backside end. Our guy does a good job with it, could have done a little bit better job with it, but it's able to get those guys moving enough where those guys are looking at that guy coming across, and now we're able to get enough gap. And again, it's nice to have a bell cow like this where he can get vertical and score a touchdown. Okay? Now we'll get into the power look. Again, a lot of our looks last year, we had a fullback, sniffer back type, so some of these looks, you're not going to see a lot of power read looks in this film clip, but this was our first game, so a lot of the things we're doing here, it's the first time they've ever done it, really. So you can see our play side guard and tackle, they have a great combo block. The only problem is that we're looking for a smash block. So we're looking for these guys to take him, put him in the lap of that defender. If we can do that, if we can take this 3 technique and put him in the lap of that defender, we're doing a good job. Okay? Get a good kick out. Let this defensive end be wrong. Let this defensive end, if he wants to come out all the way wide, this is an easy block for this guy right here. All right? The tough ones are when he pinches in tight or squeezes in tight, and this guy's got to really try to dig him out. Okay, that can be a tough block. But if we can just wall him off, get vertical, we're good to go. Okay, it's a good look at our hinge block here. Steps in tight, squeezes back, out of that backside tackle. Really good look here. It's a good job. That guy didn't even try to make an effort and make a play. So do a good job there. Okay, power right again. Okay, really do a good job. We do a good job here of really taking that 3 technique out of the play. All right. If this guy wants to be more aggressive on the guard, he's got to know that backside tackle's got to know, hey, he's on his own. I'm working up the backer on my own, and that just comes with communication. Okay, gets up the backer. He does a good job here. Comes to balance. He was a big-bodied kid, so he just gets in front of him, takes him where he wants to go. We don't have to try to. We don't want to try to get him going, hey, you have to take him to the right or you have to take him to the left. Take the linebacker where he wants to go. Because, again, like I said with zone, he's going to be wrong 9 times out of 10. If he wants to over-pursue, take him upfield. If he wants to try to pinch in, wall him off, okay? So we're gonna make sure those guys are wrong all the time. Okay, we do a great job of our backside guard pulling and picking up that linebacker. Again, does a good job. Make sure that he just take him where he wants to go, okay? Gained 19 yards on that play. So, again, this is week 1. This is the first time these guys have ever done any stuff like this. Okay, power again. Okay, here's an example of not having a good down block. Okay, so we don't step and get into this guy immediately. We let him get into us. So if you guys watch, you'll see he's causing our center to come back into the play. All right, so you want to make sure that down block's got to be important. If you watch, you can see his feet. He opens. Okay, if you watch his feet right here, he opens. He doesn't step to it, he opens. And that's just going to cause disaster for your play because that's going to cause backside penetration. Okay, power again. I said power is an attitude play. Here's a great example of why it's an attitude play for us. This was our first game of the year. We went into halftime up 26-0. This was our first play of the second half. We run power. We come out with an attitude, and we score a touchdown first play of the second half. So it's got to be an attitude play. You've got to be able to take pride in it. You know, we do a great job. We block this up about as good as you can block up power. We got a great down block, takes him out. We got a great smash block at the point of attack from these two up to backer, and then a great pull from our wrapper. Again, great example. You don't have to overpower that guy. Just make sure he doesn't make the play. Wall him off enough. Gets in front. Running back's able to make a cut. Good blocking downfield. We're able to take it to the house. Okay, power again. Now we got an end zone view. Again, power, you can run against any front. So this was a team that ran a 3-3 stack. You've got a 4-eye here, a nose, 4-eye, outside backers. So you've got to be able to run against any front, okay? We don't do a great job of getting backside penetration cut off. This is a tough block for anybody to make. All right, that's a tough block for anybody to make. If you've got an offensive tackle that can play the backside and really cut that 4-eye off, you got a special one. So he kind of misplays it a little bit. Probably should have taken a better upfield step to attack that. Gets enough piece of the guy where we can get a lane and gain some yardage. But great job by our backside guard pulling and wrapping. Great job from our sniffer back kicking out that defensive end, okay? You got to look like that with that 3-3 stack. Communication is very important. You got to make sure that everybody's communicating, everybody's on the same page so that you can get that blocked up. Okay, power again. Okay, great job here from our play side tackle. Okay, really does a great down block. There's going to be times where he's down blocking by himself, okay? Does a great job here. Drives him down, gets that hand on his hip, drives him down. Backside guard's pulling around. You get in a situation like this, you're going to have situations like this where that backside guard is pulling around. Well, he's looking for a linebacker. There's nobody there to block. Just get upfield, go find somebody. He doesn't do a good job blocking anybody. Go find somebody. Make sure you can help your guy out, get to the next level. Okay, power again. Again, this is where communication is key. Our sniffer back's not really sure where to go, okay? Not really sure where to go. I tell my guys all the time, if you don't know who to get, if you don't know where to go, just hit somebody, but be violent about it. Be aggressive about it. Again, we're able to make a play here because we've got the running back to do it. But make sure you get your guys blocked up, get everybody accounted for. And then counter. We didn't run a lot of regular counter last year. We ran a lot of counter switch just because we had the personnel for it. But here's a good look at counter again. First game, it's a natural misdirection play. Those guys think they see this sniffer back, fullback type. They think we're running power. We're able to run counter backside away. Okay, great kick out, great wrap. Get your eyes on the backer. All right, again, that down block's imperative. Okay, this is a 3 technique, so that's not the easiest of down blocks, but still, he's got to open up and run to him. Make sure penetration's taken care of. Okay, you get that all blocked up, all wrapped up. Again, great job by the wrapper. Don't worry about which way that linebacker's going. Just take him wherever he wants to go. Let that running back make a cut. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay, running backs are supposed to make cuts. All right, and we're able to get to the next level. Get a good run by our tailback. Okay, counter right with the guard and the tackle, so GT. All right, get a good look at it here. Okay, it's important for that running back to be patient. You can see here he rushes it and really gets caught up on that backside tackle. Where if he pauses for a second, now he can get it and let those blocks set up. But again, here's kind of a look at how far we've come. Get that guard, head's on the wrong side. Okay. You get your head on the outside, now you're pushing that guy back inside to make a play. Get a head on the inside, you can kick him out, wall him off. All right. Kick out that center, that backside tackle's got to move a little bit faster. All right, again, you can see a good look. Go find defenders. All right, you want to make sure that you get upfield, go find defenders. Let your guys run plays. Let him make his moves. Let him be a running back. All right, again, here's a great look at backside getting penetration. Okay, you got a log jam there. Okay, again, we're able to make a play just because we've got a better running back, but you got a log jam in there when you get backside penetration. All right, you got to make sure you get those guys moving upfield. Head needs to be inside, kicking him out. Okay, here's one that we run effectively. Okay, great down block. Get all those guys washing down this way. All right, and then you get the misdirection look coming back. Good kick out, good block on the second level. And then we're off to the races again. All right, when you get that second level blocked, good things will happen. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much to Chief Pigskin and the Outlaws for having me come speak. I really appreciate it. here's some of my contact info if you need to get a hold of me, if you want to take a look at this presentation maybe or just want to talk football. CoachShiffman@gmail.com. I got my cell phone number and then my Twitter handle. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me on Twitter. I'm always open to talk football, always open to discuss anything offensively, anything that you want to talk about football-wise. I'm always there to talk and chat football, and would love to get in touch with some of you guys and hopefully talk about this great game. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and go Hounds.